The stars stretched endlessly across the black sky of deep space. The human starship Endeavour glided silently, its hull reflecting faint glimmers from distant suns. Captain Elena Torres stood on the bridge, her eyes scanning the cosmos with a mixture of awe and caution. Humanity had traveled far beyond the Sol system, but nothing could have prepared them for what lay ahead. The Galactic Gate. The gate was enormous. It hovered in the void like a frozen storm of metal and light. Rings and symbols floated around its frame, shimmering with colors no human had ever seen. Ancient and alive, it was the most mysterious construction in the known galaxy. The ship's scanners hummed as they recorded every detail, trying to decode its origin and purpose. Even the most advanced human technology could not fully explain it. "Elena," said Commander Raj Patel, the science officer, "we are within visual range. Sensors are picking up an energy field unlike anything in human records. It seems almost intelligent." Elena nodded slowly. "Intelligent or not, we have a mission. Humanity promised the Galactic Council that we would explore this structure. All other species have been waiting for decades for permission to approach, yet somehow we were allowed here without delay. That alone is unusual." From the rear of the bridge, Lieutenant Mira Chen, the communications officer, spoke up. "Captain, other species observers are approaching behind us. I can see ships from the Virelians, the Tormic, and the Xylari. They're not happy." Elena followed her gaze. A fleet of alien ships, sleek and strange, approached the gate cautiously. Their movements were deliberate, almost hesitant, as if the gate itself could punish missteps. The aliens had been told of humanity's arrival, yet they did not understand why humans, and humans alone, could enter the gate without waiting for approval. "Somehow," Elena said softly, "we've been trusted." Raj frowned. "Trusted? We don't even know if the gate is safe. It could be a test, or worse, a trap." The Endeavour slowed as it neared the outer ring of the gate. The energy surrounding it pulsed gently, as if aware of the human's presence. A soft hum vibrated through the hull of the ship, and the lights dimmed briefly, responding to some unseen rhythm. Elena felt a shiver run down her spine. "Status?" she asked, her voice steady despite the tension. "All systems nominal," said Lieutenant Chen. "But the gate? It's scanning us. Not just our ship, but us. Life signs, brain patterns, emotional responses. It's reading everything." Elena's heart beat faster. Humanity had always been curious, bold, and sometimes reckless, but no human had ever faced something this advanced. She thought of Earth, of the countless generations who had looked to the stars and dreamed of this moment. "Prepare for entry," she ordered. "Slow approach. We do not know the gate's intentions, but we must show caution." The human ship moved closer and the gate's rings began to rotate. Symbols shifted, glowing lines forming intricate patterns. The gate was studying them, and for the first time, it seemed to communicate. A low, resonant tone filled the bridge, not through speakers, but in their minds. It was subtle, almost imperceptible, a feeling of welcome mixed with curiosity. "Did everyone feel that?" Raj asked, eyes wide. "Yes," Elena replied. "It's strange, almost like it knows we are here." As the humans approached, the alien observers hesitated. Their ships remained at a distance, scanning the gate, calculating probabilities, debating endlessly through their strange telepathic and vocal systems. None of them moved forward. The gate's energy flared slightly, and the humans could sense the unspoken message. "Only you may pass." "Why us?" Mira whispered, more to herself than anyone else. Elena shook her head. "I don't know. But whatever it is, we have a chance to find out. Humanity has reached a crossroads." A gentle push seemed to guide the Endeavour through the outer ring. Lights flashed along the ship's hull as if acknowledging the passage. Then, the outer ring expanded, creating a tunnel of shimmering light. The stars outside stretched and twisted. Time felt different here, slower or perhaps faster. The humans held their breath as they entered the tunnel. Colors beyond imagination swirled around them. There were no threats, no attacks, only a strange, pulsing energy that made every human feel understood. Inside the gate, the human ship came to a gradual stop. The tunnel opened into a vast chamber, enormous beyond comprehension. Walls stretched upward into darkness, lined with glowing lines of data. Holographic images floated in midair, showing stars, planets, and civilizations, both thriving and fallen. It was a library of the galaxy itself. Elena and her team were awestruck. Raj's hands trembled as he reached for the controls. This is impossible. The knowledge here? It's beyond anything we could imagine. Mira gasped as she scanned the chamber. Look at that. Every civilization the gate has monitored, and humans are here, allowed inside without hesitation. Why? A sudden shift of energy made the crew stumble slightly. A series of symbols appeared, floating in midair, forming patterns that seemed almost like language, but not quite. Elena felt an intuitive understanding forming in her mind. The gate was alive, and it was aware of humans in a way no other species had been. It's communicating, she said, not with words, but with ideas, emotions, choices. It wants to show us something. Raj frowned. Or test us. We must be careful. The moment we act recklessly, the gate could retaliate or lock us in forever. Elena nodded. We will proceed with caution. But we cannot ignore what we see. This is humanity's chance to understand the galaxy in a way no one else has. As the humans explored, holograms showed civilizations struggling with war, scarcity, greed, and collapse. Others thrived through cooperation, innovation, and wisdom. The gate had witnessed the full spectrum of sentient life. Humans watched, absorbing knowledge at a speed their brains struggled to process. Mira's voice trembled. Look at this. Every species seems trapped in patterns. They survive, but they never break free. Humans, we've done both. We innovate, we cooperate, we take risks, and sometimes we fail, but we always try again. Elena felt a pang of pride. Humanity had survived catastrophes on Earth, climate crises, disease, conflict, and near extinctions. And yet humans had adapted, learned, and reached for the stars. Somehow the gate recognized this. Somehow it trusted them. Raj said quietly, almost in disbelief, "Do you think that's why we're allowed here? Because of who we are?" Elena looked at the swirling lights, the vast archives of knowledge, and the unseen presence that seemed to watch them. "Yes," she said, "but this is only the beginning. The gate is alive, and it will teach us or test us, like no one else has ever been tested." A soft vibration ran through the Endeavor. Symbols shifted again, forming a doorway of light. The gate was inviting them deeper into the heart of its chamber. Mira hesitated. "Are we ready for this? We don't even know what awaits us." Elena placed a hand on her shoulder. "We are humans. Curiosity is in our blood. Courage is in our hearts. And hope is our gift. Whatever comes, we face it together." The crew of the Endeavor moved forward, entering the doorway. The chamber expanded endlessly around them. Time, space, and knowledge seemed to fold and stretch in impossible ways. Every step brought new wonders, new puzzles, and a growing sense that humanity had been chosen for a reason far greater than they could yet understand. Outside, the alien observers remained hesitant. Their ships scanned the gate endlessly, trying to comprehend why humans were allowed through. None of them could match the combination of traits the gate seemed to recognize: ingenuity, empathy, courage, and the relentless drive to explore. And in the silence of space, the gate pulsed gently, acknowledging its first visitors, not just as explorers, but as humans. Elena stood at the forefront of her crew, staring into the infinite depths of the chamber. "The galaxy has opened its door to us," she whispered, "and now we must see what it truly wants to show humanity." The Endeavor moved deeper into the gate, leaving behind the stars and entering a realm of knowledge, history, and possibilities beyond imagining. For the first time in human history, they were truly alone in the galaxy, but in a way that felt like home. And somewhere, within the vast consciousness of the Galactic Gate, a question lingered. Could humans live up to the trust that had been placed in them? The answer would come soon. But for now, humanity had taken its first step into the chamber of the galaxy, and nothing would ever be the same again. The chamber inside the Galactic Gate stretched beyond human imagination. The walls shimmered with flowing patterns of light, glowing symbols and floating images. It was as if the universe itself had been compressed into this one enormous space. Every star, planet, and civilization the gate had ever encountered hovered in holographic form, like stories waiting to be read. Captain Elena Torres moved slowly through the chamber, her eyes wide with awe. Every step felt like entering a new world. The Endeavor's crew followed closely behind, scanning the glowing symbols and floating holograms with a mixture of fear and wonder. "This is incredible," whispered Lieutenant Mira Chen. "It's not just a library, it's alive. It watches, it remembers, it understands." Commander Raj Patel nodded. "The gate has collected the history of countless civilizations. Look at this. Civilizations rising, falling, sometimes within a few hundred years. And yet, it marked humans differently." Elena stopped in front of a floating hologram. It showed Earth, centuries in the past, and the path of humanity through wars, inventions, exploration, and discoveries. Humans had survived catastrophes, overcome challenges, and reached for the stars. Yet more than survival, the gate seemed to focus on human decisions, their choices, courage, and compassion. "Why us?" Mira asked again, looking at the historical records. "Why would it trust humans when every other species has been judged and controlled?" Raj shook his head. "It seems to be studying qualities, not just intelligence. Humans take risks. We make mistakes, but we learn. We create, we protect, we sacrifice. Maybe the gate sees something in us that other species don't." Elena turned to the crew. "We need to understand it carefully. This is not just exploration. The gate is giving us a chance to learn about the galaxy and perhaps about ourselves." As they moved deeper, the chamber expanded even further. Holograms of alien species appeared. Some peaceful, some aggressive, some struggling to survive. Each civilization had faced challenges, some repeated endlessly, trapped by fear, pride, or rigid rules. The aliens outside the gate had tried to pass this test before, and none had succeeded. They followed logic, precision, and rules, but the gate measured more than logic. Raj pointed to a hologram of the Xylari, a technologically advanced species. "Look at this. They try to solve every problem with calculation. Efficient, yes, but rigid. They cannot adapt when unexpected events occur. Their plans fail when variables change, and they repeat the same mistakes over and over." Mira nodded. "And humans, we do adapt. We improvise. Even when plans fail, we find new ways. The gate must recognize that. Maybe it wants species that can think beyond rules and survive uncertainty." Elena's eyes scanned the chamber. A section glowed brighter, drawing her toward it. Symbols rotated in mid-air, forming a pattern she felt more than saw. A faint vibration filled her mind. It was not a voice, not words, but ideas, emotions, and questions all at once. "The gate. It's communicating," she said softly. "Not with language, but with thought. It wants us to understand something important about humanity." As the crew moved closer, the gate projected simulations of crises, collapsing planets, dying suns, spreading plagues, wars between civilizations. Holograms of sentient beings appeared, some pleading for help, others trapped by fear or pride. Mira gasped. "It's showing us choices, how civilizations respond. Some fail, some survive, and somehow, it's waiting to see how we act." Raj frowned. "This isn't just information. It's testing us. Every action, every thought, every reaction, it records everything." Elena's heart raced. "Then we must show the best of humanity. Courage, empathy, intelligence, everything we are capable of. We cannot fail, not because of pride, but because failure might mean losing a chance that no other species has ever had." The first simulation appeared before them. A planet's core was destabilizing, threatening to collapse into a black hole. Its inhabitants, a peaceful race of aquatic beings, had little time to evacuate. The hologram required immediate decisions. "Options are limited," Raj said, scanning possibilities. "We can try to stabilize the planet, evacuate the species, or leave it. Each choice has consequences." Elena thought for a moment. "We cannot abandon them. Stabilizing the core may be risky, but humans value life. We take risks for others. That is who we are." The simulation responded to her decision. The crew worked together, issuing commands, adjusting calculations, improvising solutions. The planet's core slowly stabilized. The gate recorded their choice, and a soft light pulsed in acknowledgement. "That's extraordinary," Mira whispered. "It recognized our empathy, not just intelligence, but care." The next simulation was different. A starving civilization argued among themselves, resources scarce, conflict inevitable. Humans could attempt to negotiate, redistribute resources, or observe silently. Elena stepped forward. "We must act. Humans survive by cooperating. We share knowledge. We share tools. We find solutions together. Let's help them." The crew coordinated with precision. They provided guidance, shared technology, and encouraged dialogue. Slowly, the holographic civilization worked together, avoiding destruction. Again, the gate pulsed with recognition. Raj marveled. No other species has succeeded like this. They rely on rigid laws or force. Humans rely on cooperation, creativity, and morality. That's what sets us apart. Deeper in the chamber, a new layer of holograms appeared. These were abstract, problems with no clear solution, ethical dilemmas, impossible situations. A species trapped in a loop of war and peace, another faced with sacrificing a few to save many. "Now it tests our judgment," Mira said. "It wants to see how we act when there is no perfect answer." Elena examined the first dilemma. A sentient species' survival depended on human intervention, but intervention might cause harm elsewhere. Her mind raced through possibilities. "We must weigh consequences but act with care. Humans accept responsibility, even when decisions are hard." The crew debated, discussed, and ultimately made choices that balanced survival, morality, and compassion. Each action was recorded, each response measured. The gate observed, learning what made humans human. Hours passed in what felt like minutes. The simulations grew more complex, testing creativity, courage, and empathy. The humans never gave up, never chose selfish solutions. Their decisions reflected hope, morality, and adaptability. Finally, the chamber shifted. The simulations disappeared, leaving only the glowing symbols of the gate. The energy pulsed, as if acknowledging their success. Raj turned to Elena. "We passed, But I don't think this is the end. The gate is showing us who we are, but I feel like it wants us to take the next step. Something greater is coming. Elena nodded. Yes. The gate recognizes humanity, but it tests us for more than survival. It tests our ability to act with courage, morality, and intelligence. That is why we are allowed here, without hesitation, without question, because it trusts humans in ways other species have not earned. Mira's voice trembled with wonder. It's teaching us, not just information, but understanding, why humans can do what others cannot, why we are different. The chamber's energy shifted again. Symbols rotated, forming a doorway of light, inviting them deeper. The gate's pulse was stronger, as if encouraging them. A question lingered in their minds. Are we ready for the next challenge? Elena took a deep breath. We are humans. Curiosity, courage, empathy, and hope guide us. Whatever comes next, we face it together. As they moved through the doorway, the chamber expanded endlessly. Holograms of past, present, and possible futures swirled around them. The gate seemed to sense their intentions, responding to thought, emotion, and choice. Mira looked at Elena. Do you think this is why humans survive? Not just on Earth, but in the galaxy? Because we can act when others cannot? Because we can adapt, care, and create solutions no one else sees? Elena nodded slowly. Yes, humans survive not because we are the strongest or the smartest, but because we are willing to act with courage, to care, and to try, even when failure is likely. That is our gift. That is why the gate trusts us. The crew of the Endeavor continued moving forward. Each step revealed new wonders, civilizations that had vanished, ideas that had never been tried, problems without solutions. The gate was a living archive, recording not just history, but the capacity for life to grow, change, and thrive. Outside, alien observers remained at the edge of the gate, unable to comprehend why humans moved freely while they waited. The gate had judged them, measured them, and found them lacking in ways humans had naturally overcome. And deep inside the gate, a new awareness grew. Humans had proven themselves capable of understanding, adapting, and acting morally in ways no other species had. They were no longer just explorers. They were stewards, learners, and pioneers in the eyes of the galaxy. Elena stood at the center of the chamber, looking at the swirling light, feeling its presence in her mind. The gate is showing us the future, she said quietly. But it is also showing us ourselves. We are humans, and that is why we are allowed to walk here, freely, without question. A soft pulse of light radiated from the gate, almost like a heartbeat. The humans understood instinctively that this was only the beginning. The chamber of knowledge was vast, filled with challenges and lessons, and the gate's true purpose had yet to be revealed. But one thing was clear. Humanity had been chosen for a reason, not because they were perfect, but because they could act when others could not. They could adapt, learn, and care, and above all, they could hope. The Endeavor's crew moved deeper into the chamber, ready to face whatever the gate would show next. And somewhere, in the pulse of ancient energy and light, the gate waited patiently, knowing that humans had the potential to rise to the challenges no other species had ever overcome. For the first time in the galaxy's history, humans had not only arrived, they had been understood, recognized, and trusted. And the story of humanity within the Galactic Gate had only just begun. The Chamber of Knowledge had revealed much, but it was only the beginning. Beyond the glowing symbols and floating holograms, a new section of the Galactic Gate opened before the humans. It was larger, darker, and more intense, a space designed to challenge not just intellect, but the heart and courage of those who entered. Captain Elena Torres felt the pulse of the gate stronger here. It was as if the ancient structure was alive, observing every thought, every emotion. She glanced at her crew on the bridge of the Endeavor, seeing determination in their eyes. They had come this far, and now they were about to face the ultimate test. "The gate is preparing a new challenge," Raj said quietly. "I can feel it. This is different from anything we've experienced. It will test us on what it truly means to be human." Mira Chen swallowed hard. "I can sense it too. It's almost asking us to act, not just think, to make choices where no one else can help, to decide who lives and who doesn't, who to save, who to risk. It's terrifying." Elena took a deep breath. "That is what humanity does. We face fear. We act with courage. We make choices even when the outcome is uncertain. That is why we are here. That is why the gate trusts us." The first test appeared in the form of a holographic planet, its surface tearing apart from violent storms and unstable tectonic activity. Millions of beings struggled to survive, but the environment itself seemed impossible to control. A countdown appeared. If the humans did not act, the entire civilization would be lost. Raj scanned the options. We could try to stabilize the planet's core remotely, evacuate some of the population, or simply observe and learn from their attempts to survive. Each choice carries risks. There is no guaranteed solution. Elena's gaze hardened. "We do not abandon life. Humanity never does. We try, even when the odds are impossible. We take risks to save others." The crew worked together. Scientists, engineers, and strategists coordinated across systems. They devised an improvised method to stabilize the planet, using a combination of energy redirection and predictive modeling. As the holographic storms raged, humans acted with precision and empathy, choosing to save as many as possible while minimizing harm. Slowly, the planet stabilized. The gate pulsed softly, acknowledging their success. "That was incredible," Mira whispered. "It's as if the gate understands why humans never give up, even when failure seems certain." Raj nodded. "Other species would calculate the risk and walk away. Humans, we act because we care. That is what makes the difference." No sooner had they succeeded than a new scenario appeared. A civilization was locked in endless conflict. One side controlled scarce resources, while the other faced starvation. The holographic beings looked desperate, some turning to violence to survive. Humans could intervene, negotiate, or observe passively. Elena stepped forward. "We cannot let them destroy each other. Humans survive through cooperation. We guide, we teach, we protect. Let's show them how to work together." The crew acted with empathy and creativity. They introduced solutions, facilitated dialogue, and provided tools for sustainable cooperation. Slowly, the conflict subsided. The gate pulsed again, stronger this time, as if recognizing the moral courage the humans had demonstrated. "Every choice we make is being watched," Raj said quietly. "The gate is learning not just what we can do, but who we are. It measures empathy, courage, and wisdom, not just intelligence." The next test was the hardest yet. The simulation presented a dying star threatening a nearby planet, home to a young civilization. Evacuating the population would risk destabilizing the planetary orbit, while inaction would destroy the species. The humans had minutes to decide. Mira's voice trembled. "If we act, we risk everything. If we don't, they die. How can we choose?" Elena looked at the holographic beings, their faces filled with hope and fear. "Humans choose to act. We take responsibility. We do not abandon life. We do what is right, even when it is difficult." Working together, the crew implemented a delicate solution. They redirected stellar energy, stabilized the orbit, and evacuated the most vulnerable. The simulation ended, and the gate pulsed once more, bright and strong. The test had been passed, but the humans knew there would be more challenges ahead. As they moved deeper into the chamber, new scenarios unfolded. Civilizations trapped in cycles of war and peace, species facing impossible moral dilemmas, planets collapsing under natural disasters. The humans acted with courage, ingenuity, and compassion. Each time, the gate responded, acknowledging their choices and recording their actions. Hours passed, yet time felt different inside the gate. Days, perhaps weeks, might have gone by in the outside universe, but within the chamber, the humans moved steadily through challenge after challenge. They learned, adapted, and supported each other. Their humanity, courage, empathy, creativity was tested in every scenario. At one point, the crew faced a simulated species whose survival required sacrificing a few to save many. It was a moral test, designed to reveal whether humans would prioritize efficiency over compassion. Elena hesitated. We must find another way. Sacrifice should never be the first choice. Humanity values life. Even when difficult decisions are necessary, we strive to protect as many as possible. Through discussion, strategy, and careful innovation, the humans found a solution that minimized harm while saving the majority. The gate pulsed, acknowledging the subtle wisdom and empathy in their decision-making. Raj looked exhausted, but amazed. No other species could do this. They think in absolutes, in rules, in logic. Humans, we bend, adapt, and care. That is why the gate trusts us. That is why we can enter freely. Mira nodded, tears in her eyes. It's more than survival. It's about choices, morality, and hope. We are different, and the gate knows it. Deeper still, the chamber presented a final test. A vast simulation of a galaxy on the brink of collapse, wars, famine, dying stars, and civilizations teetering on extinction. The humans were required to act in multiple locations, simultaneously making decisions that would affect billions of lives. This is impossible, Raj muttered. No one could manage this except maybe humans. We adapt, improvise, and act where others cannot. Elena stepped forward. Then we do it. We act because it is right, not because it is easy. That is the test. That is why the gate trusts us. The humans split into teams, working together with ingenuity and courage. Engineers stabilized failing planets, diplomats mediated conflicts, and strategists guided civilizations toward cooperation. They sacrificed their own comfort and safety within the simulation, always prioritizing life, hope, and justice. Hours, or perhaps moments, passed. The gate pulsed with acknowledgement, its energy radiating approval. For the first time, the simulation seemed to pause, waiting. The humans had acted not with cold logic, but with compassion, courage, and creativity. They had passed the ultimate test. Elena looked around at her crew, exhausted but resolute. We have shown the gate what it means to be human. Not perfect, but capable of great courage, empathy, and hope. That is why we were allowed here. Mira smiled, wiping her eyes. We didn't just survive the tests. We proved who we are. We are humans, and the gate, it knows that now. Raj nodded. Other species will not understand. They cannot. They think strength comes from control and calculation. Humanity's strength comes from choice, courage, and care. The chamber shifted one last time. Symbols and light formed a pathway leading to the heart of the gate. The humans felt a presence, ancient and vast, welcoming them deeper. The gate had recognized them, understood them, and now it invited them to the next stage, a role in the galaxy unlike any other. Elena took a deep breath. This is only the beginning. The gate has tested us, taught us, and acknowledged us. But our journey is just starting. Beyond this path lies the galaxy itself, and humanity has been chosen to guide, protect, and explore it. Mira looked out at the glowing light. It's incredible. The gate. It doesn't just reward intelligence, it values courage, empathy, and hope. That is what humans have in abundance. Raj smiled. We have learned that our true strength is not in technology or power alone, but in our choices, our compassion, and our willingness to act. That is why the Gate trusts us. That is why humanity can walk freely where others cannot. As the humans moved forward, the chamber expanded endlessly around them. Holographic stars, planets, and civilizations shimmered in every direction. The Gate's pulse was steady, almost like a heartbeat, resonating with the humans' own courage and determination. Elena stood at the forefront of her crew, feeling the vast energy of the Gate in her mind. "We are humans," she whispered. "We act, we care, we hope. And that is why we are allowed to walk here freely, without question. The galaxy is waiting. And we will rise to meet it." The humans stepped forward, leaving behind the simulations and tests. They had proven themselves not just as explorers, but as stewards of life, carriers of hope, and exemplars of courage and compassion. And somewhere, deep within the ancient consciousness of the Galactic Gate, a quiet recognition spread. Humans were not merely survivors. They were chosen. Chosen to act, to guide, and to protect the galaxy in ways no other species had ever been capable of. For the first time, humanity had passed the ultimate test. The Gate had seen their courage, their empathy, and their ingenuity. And in return, it had opened a path that led to the heart of the galaxy and the promise of a future shaped by the best of what humanity could offer. The story of humans within the Galactic Gate had reached a new stage. Their journey was far from over, but they had earned a place among the stars, recognized not just for survival, but for what made them truly human. And with that recognition came a responsibility that humanity would embrace with courage, compassion, and hope. The chamber of the Galactic Gate shimmered with endless light, and before the humans of the Endeavor, a pathway unfolded like a bridge to the stars themselves. The Gate's pulse was steady and welcoming. After the trials and tests, after the lessons in courage, empathy, and ingenuity, humanity had been recognized. Captain Elena Torres stood at the forefront, her crew behind her, hearts beating with anticipation. They had passed the test of humanity. They had demonstrated that humans could act with intelligence, creativity, and morality even under impossible circumstances. Now the Gate was offering them something no other species had ever been offered, a role in the galactic network. Raj Patel, the science officer, scanned the new pathway. This is beyond comprehension," he whispered. "It's not just knowledge, it's access. The Gate is showing us everything. Every civilization, every star system, every network of information. We have unprecedented responsibility." Mira Chen's voice trembled. "It's overwhelming to think we've been trusted like this. Why us? Why humans?" Elena looked at her crew, her eyes shining with determination. "Because we act when others hesitate. We care when others calculate. We create when others follow rules. The Gate recognizes that humanity can do what no other species can. It has given us the chance to guide, to protect, and to learn. That is our role now." The path through the chamber led them to a massive portal of light. Beyond it lay the galactic network, a web connecting countless star systems, civilizations, and streams of knowledge. Humans could see the flow of ideas, communication, trade, and culture linking species across the galaxy. It was a living map of life itself. As they entered, the crew felt the immense scale of what lay ahead. The network was alive, constantly shifting and responding. Each star system, each civilization, each individual action created ripples that the humans could perceive. The Gate had given them access, but with access came responsibility. Raj studied the holographic map. "We can monitor the growth of civilizations, their struggles and their achievements. We can offer guidance where needed. But we must not interfere recklessly. The network is delicate. Balance is key. Mira nodded. We have to act carefully. The gate trusts us to protect life, not control it. Humans can guide, but we must respect the freedom of other species. Elena led the crew through the network, observing species developing, thriving, or failing. Some civilizations were young and fragile, while others were advanced and self-sufficient. Every decision humans made could influence the flow of events, for better or worse. Suddenly, a warning flashed. A system on the edge of the network was facing collapse. A neighboring star was unstable, threatening multiple planets. Humans could intervene directly, offering technology and guidance, or they could let the species struggle independently. Elena looked at her crew. We act. Humans do not abandon life. We guide, we protect, and we help civilizations reach their potential. That is who we are. Let's move. The crew coordinated rapidly. Engineers stabilized the star's energy output remotely, while scientists provided solutions to prevent planetary destruction. Diplomatic measures were taken to help the species organize evacuations and ensure survival. Slowly, the crisis resolved. The network pulsed with acknowledgement, and the humans realized their actions had saved millions of lives. Other species could have done this? Mira asked. Raj shook his head. No. Many species would calculate risk and walk away. Humans act out of courage, empathy, and hope. That is why we are the first allowed free access. As they moved deeper, the humans began to see patterns within the network. Certain civilizations were trapped in cycles of conflict, stagnation, or fear. Humans could offer guidance without direct interference, teaching solutions, sharing knowledge, and inspiring cooperation. Their presence alone began to influence the galaxy positively. Elena paused before a star system where multiple civilizations had been on the brink of war. We must be careful, she said. We guide, not force. We show possibility, not impose it. That is humanity's role in this network. The crew worked together, offering advice, facilitating communication, and demonstrating solutions that encouraged peace and collaboration. Slowly, the civilizations began to work together, sharing resources and knowledge, creating stability where none had existed before. Mira smiled. It's incredible. Our actions ripple through the galaxy, inspiring hope. The gate was right. Humans can act in ways no other species can. Raj nodded. We are mediators, explorers, and protectors, not rulers, but guides. That is our gift and our responsibility. As they continued through the network, the humans began to notice that other species were observing them. Alien civilizations watched as humans moved freely, helping where needed, taking risks, and solving problems creatively. Some were amazed, some envious, but all began to respect humanity's role. Elena addressed her crew. We must always remember, we act not for pride, not for power, but for life. That is what makes us human. That is why the gate chose us. And that is why civilizations trust us to move freely through this network. Suddenly, the network revealed a simulation of a galaxy-wide threat. A rogue star cluster was destabilizing, threatening multiple inhabited systems simultaneously. The humans faced an enormous challenge, one that required coordination, quick thinking, and courage beyond anything they had experienced. Raj took a deep breath. This is the ultimate test. Can humans act on a scale no other species could manage? Elena nodded. We have already passed every test the gate has given us. Now we act as humans always do, together, bravely, wisely, and with care for all life. The crew divided responsibilities. Engineers stabilized stars remotely, scientists coordinated planetary defenses, and diplomats guided civilizations in emergency planning. Every decision required moral judgment, risk assessment, and creativity. Lives depended on their choices, and failure was not an option. Hours of concentrated effort passed. The humans worked tirelessly, improvising solutions, balancing priorities, and ensuring survival wherever possible. Slowly, the rogue star cluster was stabilized, and the immediate threat to life across multiple systems was removed. The network pulsed with recognition, acknowledging humanity's ability to act on a galactic scale. Mira leaned back, exhausted but smiling. "We did it. We saved millions, maybe billions. And we did it not because we were forced, but because we chose to act." Raj looked at the glowing web of the network. Humans can solve problems that no other species can. We take responsibility, even when it is hard. That is why the gate allowed us free access. That is why the galaxy now watches us with trust. Elena gazed at the flow of stars, planets, and civilizations. This is our role, to guide, to protect, to inspire, to act with courage, empathy, and wisdom wherever life is threatened or opportunity exists. The network is vast, but humanity has been chosen to navigate it responsibly. As the humans explored further, the gate's pulse resonated strongly, as if affirming their place in the galaxy. The humans realized that the gate was not just a structure of judgment and knowledge. It was a partner, a teacher, and a guide. And humanity had proven that they could act with responsibility, courage, and hope. The alien observers outside the gate could only watch in awe. Humans moved freely, saving lives, guiding civilizations, and solving problems with creativity and empathy. No other species could match this combination of traits. The gate had chosen wisely. Elena turned to her crew. "We are humans. We act when others hesitate. We hope when others despair. We create when others follow rules. That is why we have been trusted. That is why the galaxy has opened its doors to us." Mira smiled, eyes shining. "We carry the responsibility of life itself, but also the privilege of guiding it. That is beautiful." Raj nodded. "And dangerous if misused. But humanity has shown that we do not act for selfish gain. We act for life, for hope, for the future." The Endeavor moved through the network, witnessing civilizations thriving, conflicts resolving, and knowledge spreading across the galaxy. Humanity's influence was subtle but profound. The mere presence of humans inspired cooperation, creativity, and progress. Elena reflected on their journey. "We began at the Galactic Gate as explorers. We were tested, observed, and taught. Now we are more than explorers. We are guardians, mediators, and stewards. The gate has chosen humanity not because we are perfect, but because we are capable of acting for the greater good." As they moved deeper into the network, the humans saw glimpses of possibilities, new civilizations yet to rise, challenges yet to appear, and opportunities to protect and guide life. Humanity's role was vast, but they were ready. Elena stood at the forefront of the Endeavor, looking out at the infinite expanse of the galactic network. "The galaxy is ours to explore, not to dominate, to guide, not to control, to protect, not to exploit. That is the reason the gate allowed humans free passage. That is the reason life will trust us." The pulse of the gate resonated through the ship, a quiet affirmation of humanity's place in the cosmos. The humans had earned this trust through courage, empathy, adaptability, and hope. And now they would carry it forward, shaping a future where life across the galaxy could flourish. For the first time, humanity had not only reached the stars, they had been recognized as capable of responsibility on a cosmic scale. And in that recognition lay hope, for humans and for all life they were destined to guide. Elena turned to her crew, a smile on her face. "This is just the beginning. The galaxy awaits, and humanity will rise to meet it. Together, as humans, we can face anything." The Endeavor moved forward into the heart of the galactic network, carrying humanity's hope, courage, and wisdom. And somewhere, deep within the pulse of the gate, a silent acknowledgement echoed. Humans were worthy. The story of humanity within the galactic gate had reached its greatest stage. Their journey had begun with curiosity, tested by challenges, and now recognized by the galaxy itself. And as the stars stretched endlessly before them, humanity embraced its role. Explorers, guardians, and stewards of life across the cosmos. The future was theirs to shape, and humanity was ready.